No, but like, it is. It is. Anyway, there we go. Welcome, everyone. Hey, Kimmy, Ane, everyone else, go. It is very hard to turn the game off because it's very good. So, yes, it is. Listen, all right. See, when me and Chris play, we play and then we just talk. All right. No. We're here and we're gonna keep going. Anyway, enough fiddling around. We got a story to get through. Let's do this. Last time Soldier was about to Soldier about to fucking die, so I'm scared for my boy.
ていうか、今の小バカにした笑いがあんたの遺言ってことで OK？
いや、そうじゃなくて、あそこにいる人は青崎の友人なのか?
Right, and it was a mysterious third party. Alright, close that. There we go. Got it, phone. I need you. We'll have a headache. Oh, that's not good. I'm sure it'll pass. Make sure roll. Cozy. Alright, just everything? Yes. That was nowhere. So we should point it behind Aoka.
Huh?
I thought that it must have been that old overused distraction technique. Oh yeah, Shidori's always been a W. I honestly, I've always kind of liked Shidori. I can't wait to see Reload do that. Do more Shidori stuff justice. This would have been a Japanese comedy act. This would be the part where she gave him a whack with a paper fan. But ever giving it second thought? Did you realize Sojo didn't have the capacity for understanding old or even new tricks?
あんた、何言って?
Perhaps his honest disposition had been to his benefit. Not thinking, I've given into her curiosity and turned her gaze toward the direction in which his finger was pointed. And there. Something that should not have been there in the maze. Something with a creaking wooden smile. I'm two-timing? What do you... Kimi? What are you doing? Fuka and Mitsuru? You know, at least you didn't go for Yukari. It's at the W. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's kind of crazy. I appreciate you didn't go for Fuka. Yeah, Yukari. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. What the fuck is this? It was the ominous, creepy, uncanny figure of a girl. But your friend zoned her, right? But your friend zone, right? No. Oh. Usual figure with 2 arms and 2 legs stood silently in the darkness. Didn't lies. I didn't see you. For a moment, its beauty was even apparent from afar. All the insanity of the current situation. Oh. Extend, extend, extend. The utterly unknown threat made Aoka freeze on the spot. It didn't even occur to her. Humans possess intelligence and knowledge, but when confronted with the unknown, they fail to process what to do and... Dummy. Shriek escaped Aoka's mouth. The magical attack crossed the 30-foot gap in an instant. Forever again. Oh. The arm of the girl who had appeared at the rear of the corridor was slender and quick. It's not to a near impossible length, striking Aoka from behind. Damn! There we go. Crashed into the wall as she fought back in anguish, whimper. Taka retracted her arm.
Aozaki!
But freaky? Sojiro sprang to his feet. He ordered to her side and used all the strength he could muster to get to her feet. Look at how light she was. In Sojiro's mind, that was an extraordinary individual. He expected that if he were to ever touch her, it would be apparent she was far stronger than he. In reality, she felt about as heavy as you would expect a 100-pound girl to feel. What do you mean by that? Hey, yo? That's a kick-ass design. Hold on. That's a kick-ass fucking puppet design. Hey, yo? Meanwhile, that thing continued to reel its arm. There was some sort of mechanism. Me liking? It's a puppet! Actually, no. I get it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding! It's a joke. Response. Listen. Alright, relax. I know you just mean the design. Alright, relax. Extended more than 30 feet from the elbow joint, it clanked as it returned to its previous shape and size. Sojiro, not to be that guy, but like she was just about to kill you and... Alright, man. Cause it's Sojiro and he is, you know, Sojiro. What tore her hand away from Sojiro's? Suddenly, she felt her knees buckle from under her. Sojiro caught her before she could hit the ground and helped her to her feet. No. Look back at the eerie shadow 30 feet away as it finished retracting its arm. Ah, right. No, that makes sense, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. She grabbed her lower back as she answered. Ooh. Bro, did you like crack your ass or something? Searing pain shot through her. Magic, maybe? With that kind of power, I think it can, it just chose not to. Okay, you okay? Did your ass crack? Did you crack it? Let me check just in case. Alright, let me stop. That was poor taste a joke. Poor taste a joke. Let me stop. Tried to steady her breathing as she assessed the damage done to her back. It was quick to fade and her breathing returned to normal. For the time being, her motor functions were no longer hindered, which meant the real damage was elsewhere. We call the ass doctor. Alright, let's not take the joke too far now. She's underage. You're raw as fuck! Yo, that's such a raw fucking design. What the hell? Blue light glowed across the gloom. Magical energy generated by her breathing was accumulating in her right arm. Magical energy was the fuel. The formula was the igniter. For Aoko, this is little more than a reenactment of 2 evenings ago. Next time the puppet extended its arm, Aoko would fire a magical bullet as fast as she could. Fucking thunderfies. Jesus. Battle at approximately 30 feet. As Aoko could secure a 2-second window, she could create a counterattack to end her doom. Made its move. Its head tilted down. There was no expression to be seen. In the darkness, its apparent age was impossible to make out. The two humans, the puppet was not dissimilar to a faceless ghost. Suki Aoko? Oh, Suki Himeako? Good question. That's a very good question, actually. Oh. Its left arm slowly came up with a grinding sound. Its movements were dull, as if the joints were rusty. God, don't show me that. Damn. The right arm, which had been extended earlier, hung at its side. The puppet's mouth was hidden by its long locks. The sense was that it was smiling. That's so fucking cool looking, dude. That was not the ass. Unfortunately, that was not the front of it. That was not the back of it, it was the front of it.
あれが本命。しずきくん、どいて。
Move, Mark! Oh shit. He threw himself into SOJIRO and extended her hand. His arm extended at that very moment. Time was impeccable. A single second, Ako's snap bullet scored a direct hit at the puppet's arm, throwing off its trajectory, sending it crashing into the puppet's body with a violent explosion. Or at least, that's what would have happened had the magic formula been invoked. Ooh, that was close. She barely avoided being struck once again. Magecraft failed her, intuition took over, and she just managed to get away. Smart puppet. She clenched her teeth in frustration. Her thoughts racing a mile a minute. Fight or flight? We have one arm left, which would take time to retract. It's the best shot Alka had at defeating it. She could evade her right arm just a fraction. She could get close enough to... In slumber I live, in dirt I rot alone. This day I died and was born, I come to you? The crackle echoed through the corridor. The pudding murmurs contained enough magic energy for a mage to perceive. The verse itself was Latin, but it contained hints of the language of curses, Gondor. Originally, the words meant to curse a hated adversary. However,
Mer animae mortalis, otem eftura negata sunt. Manes sum, animam definire ambiguum est. Teode et am, conveniamus insomnio ipso.
okay, my life is immortal, my future is destroyed, I'm a ghost. The vision of life is ethereal, I hate you, I love you, let's meet in a dream. What the hell? The puppet was directing the words at itself. Curses beget curses. The victim calls down a curse on the assailant, creating a vicious cycle of negativity. The incantation was meant to do just that. However, this was ultimately a one-puppet show, an unprecedented source of power akin to auto-intoxication. As believably as it seemed, the cycle of curses had been turned into a perpetual motion device. Yes! Go bad idea of digging your heels in. It's time to flee with all due haste. Okay, so guess we're not. Alright. She grabbed Soldier's hand and ran as fast as she could, deep into the realm of mirrors. Crackling voice continued its murmuring behind them.
Proximi mich negligentes ferunt, omnes nos peccantes fims, et omnes nos edem fims, omnes nos peccatoris sums. Venit domum meum, lut simile somnium, et pulvere simile quotidianum, corporebo.
Who's neglect to mate? Not innocent among us. It's a normal phrase, chat. It's a normal phrase. It's a normal phrase. We're all sinners. We are all sinners. Welcome to my house. Die a muddy death. Dust to dust. Gouge out my heart. It's a normal phrase, chat. Shh. Oh. You are creepy. Death be upon you. That's to itself, right? So, what is trying to gain from this? Fought against the pain in her back as she ran through the mirrored corridor. She dragged Soldier by the hand.
Aozaki, 傷は?
別に背骨が痺れてる程度よ。内臓は平気だし、出血もないみたい。
Yeah. She cursed inwardly at how much of a mess she felt, though. Or curse inwardly. Like SOJIRO, did not run into any transparent walls. Not to superior sight, but rather preparation, she'd hammered the layout of the building into her memory.
平気ってわかるのか?
How can you tell?
そりゃ自分の体だもの。身体管理は基礎中の基礎よ。
Smart. Aiko's matter-of-fact answer contrasts with Sojo's nervous questioning. Gordo grew shorter with each and every turn. At first, he able to advance in a straight line for about 100 feet at a time, but by now, they were forced to turn a corner every 50 feet or so.
あいつはあの夜の。
多分ね。同じタイプだと思う。貴重なオートマタを惜しげもなく使い捨てるなんて、よっぽどお金持ちなんだろうけど。
I know, right? Who could be doing such a thing, man? Who could that be? Soldier furrowed his brows. He was grateful that she was answering his questions, but baffled by the strange words she was using.
青崎ストップ。もう随分走ったぞ。あいつは曲がり角一つ分向こうだ。少し休もう。
No. His wishes yesterday was still concerned about her injuries. Goose shook her head in irritation.
あの距離を狙ってくる相手に通路一つ分のリードは無意味よ。せめて二つ分に行くまで走るの。
Yeah, we gotta keep going, bro, because that thing can take up to 30 meters, bro. Or meters, feet, one of the two. So, like, we gotta keep going. Sojo nodded. That matter settled? He asked.
なんで俺を連れて行ってるんだ？
逃げられたくないからじゃない、バカ。
Oh, because you want to kill him. Oh. Answering curtly, Hako glared at her naive prey. Two of them headed for the next corridor. Things began to slow as they rounded one more. Hako rubbed her back as she tried to catch her breath. Hako insisted she was fine. It appeared to have been a bravado. The usually clueless soldier felt the desperation they were in. I know, right? I wonder what brings that on. No, surely she's just a casino lady. We don't have any prerequisites to knowing who that might be. No, she's just a casino lady who just is very good at casinos. Slot machines. That's about it. It's nothing like that, sure. He stood behind Alco with his arms folded. They had a moment. Nah, I'm just being crazy. Exactly, right? It's just some casino lady. We don't know her from anywhere else. We've never seen her before in our life. They had a moment. He tried to make sense of everything. First, Alco had nearly killed him. While he was saved at the last possible second, it was by the strange, stretchy woman Alco had burned to ashes 2 nights prior. He could barely make it out that night, but he considered it as her because it looked female. Woman's attack wounded Alco's back and forced her to flee. Alco had taken SOJIRO with her, claiming that the reason she did so was to prevent her prey from escaping. In other words...
青崎はまだ諦めてないんだな。
Just not realized?
当たり前よ。あんなやつ、仮に2体と半分始末しても、あんた用の余力は残せるわ。
True, because it... I'm not saying SOJIRO is weak, but like, it's SOJIRO, bro. Come on. It was sharp. Even SOJIRO could see that she was struggling to stay confident. Damage to her body was too much to afford her any optimism. Still, fury in her eyes refused to accept the circumstances.
中がところどころショートしてる。あの右腕は回路を混戦させるジャミングってわけね。
So some sort of jamming attack, maybe? The proper response would have been for her to tremble in fear, nothing but shake her fists in anger. The social formulae was only supposed to work on absolute beginners. If you'd been a roommate, your would have been repelled the instant it hit her, and the attacker's circuits burned out, rather than her own. To establish a link to the magic circuits of another mage was like presenting your heart on a silver platter. No use in a battle against a superior mage. And yet, her adversary had been designed to do just that. With the attacks in areas of Misaki under Aoko's jurisdiction these last few weeks, it was clear a statement from the enemy. who had revealed itself as a fellow mage 2 days ago. In other words, the puppet saw Aoko as no threat at all.
敵ながら正確な判断だこと。
When she was still angry, the woman of emotions within her started to fade. Her face was that of a hunter far beyond her years.
なんか俺の時より真剣だな。
The girl looked so depressed.
まあね、あんたの時は遊びが入ってたし。
Ah. Sora was not sure whether to be happy or sad at that.
わからないことだらけで何を聞いていいかわからないんだけど、一つだけいいか。
One question, and go. I could not respond. Her eyes were focused on the darkness before them. The silence was heavy. The darkness was like a noose closing in on them. Such a cartoon in spite of her indifference.
青崎はあいつも殺すのか。
A stillness fell over them. It was as if the gloom was pulling them in. No response. The brain was the only sound echoing in the dim corridor. There stood Sojiro, forcing her to confront her sins, the magician girl who continued to ignore him. It's been a few seconds, seemingly frozen in time.
そう。それがあなたのキーワードみたいね。
Echo whispered in a lifeless tone. Her sigh was tinged with both resignation and contempt.
何？
What?
独り言よ、忘れて。それと、言っとくけど、あいつは人間じゃないわ。
It's not human, bro.
信じられないだろうけど、自分の意志で動く人形なの。この前のも、今のやつもね。
Yeah. Sojiro noticed he processed the information. Not only did he not doubt her story, but he seemed to have accepted it at face value.
なんか落ち着いてるわね、あなた。
You are awfully calm, actually.
まさかもう何が何だかわからないからあまり考えないことにしてるだけだ。
Of course, you would just not think about it. Yeah, that sounds bad. Okay.
ただ人形に関しては別にどうということはない。
The extending arms?
もしかして他でも自動人形を見たことあるとか？
都会の人形ってああいうものじゃないのか？
No. Dumb Sojiro strikes again. And here we go with Sojiro being Sojiro. Alright. She barely stopped herself from falling to her knees. Of course. How could she have forgotten? She was dealing with a bona fide, natural-born moron. As a student who transferred from the isolation of the mountains like an endangered species, this utter lack of common sense rendered anything miraculous as mundane. Wait. Hold on. Wait a fucking minute. Are you telling me that the puppets in town can't move? This is bullshit, non-blazing. Automobiles for moving hunks of metal, then moving puppets for nothing to write home about. Wait, that meant, to him, the incident from the other night hadn't been extraordinary at all. Might have even assumed it was an everyday occurrence in the city.
参った。いっぺん頭の中覗いてみたいっていうか、ほんと、ここまで来ると感心するわ。
There's nothing in there.
調子が狂うのも当然だった。普通は私に襲われた時点でもっと違う反応をするはずなのに。
That too.
化け物とか、お化けとかさ。でもあなたにとっては、そういうこともある。で済まされてたわけなんだ。
Yeah.
なんかバカみたいね、私。
Maybe. The strained face returned to normal for a moment. Oh, my headphones are falling off. What the fuck? It hit her. There had been another way to handle this without anyone getting hurt, but the damage had already been done. There are no do-overs in life, nor should there be. Her own mistaken assumptions had sent that situation spiraling out of control. Now that Sojo was involved, she had to make sure that her secret was safe with him. Even if there had been another better option, that ship had sailed. Relationships were ultimately driven by mutual misunderstandings. They were like tapestries, woven from mismatched intentions. Break time was over. There stood Aoko Aosaki and Sojiro Shizuki. The first ever idle conversation had come to an end. They had a choice in the matter. It's a dry murmuring from around the corner that cut it short.
Nemo mev nus meminit, vidurit extinct sest. Initio eraberamos dom brevimus dolores sunt. Nemo adiuvat.
Oh, did you ghostwrite this one? You wrote this line, didn't you? This is you. You probably wrote this one. That meal was just around the corner. Visible in the mirrors parallel to it. You got me. What the fuck? Because to Aoko's elegant blues, its lights were malicious red. You're not so best friends? What the fuck? There's a momentary flash of light before she even extended her arm. The instant she saw the enemy, her dormant feelings erupted once more. Oh? W, barrier. She held all of her pent-up anger and shunted it into her right arm. The fog that filled the corridor was no magical weaving, rather a barrier of raw energy. It's equivalent to setting ablaze 3 buckets of gasoline to create a wall of fire. It would stop an arrow in flight. If it had attacked with its arm, it could have pierced such a wall easily. Because it had loose curves with no definite form, a wall of energy repelled the attack. He asked me to share some of my wisdom. And you didn't tell him to finish Red Garden? Alright. It's a huge waste of magical energy. It only means Aoko had to protect herself at that moment. Fortunately, this protection was reserved for Aoko alone. Sora held his hand to his mouth. Cursed him and weakened to the point where Aoko could no longer feel it. That plenty of effect on Sojiro, who's not a mage. But that's creepy. So understood this fact. Puppet turned its gaze from Aoko to the unanticipated human behind her. So I talk about Lost Spell 9 for some reason. What the fuck? God damn it. Oh, good CG. Rage. She swung her arm forward once again. Moonlight formed a wall to block the Gondor for a scant few seconds. There's not an opening to exploit. Just as was forming the wall, Puppet pointed its right arm at her face. And before the rocket of death could be fired, sort of scooped her up into his arms. How he mustered strength to do so is a mystery. He turned his back on the puppet and took off running. Oh, it's her. Yeah, I wonder who sent this puppet after Aoko and Sojiro. I wonder. And it looks a lot like Aoko in her 40s, like in Tsukihime. Interesting. I wonder who it could be. I do wonder. Yeah, we all wonder, don't we? It's a nimble sprinter, something a deer leaping across obstacles. Stop trolling Alice. Yeah, it has to be Alice. She's just testing him. So it's around 2 more corners. No whatever complaints Aoko was making, and eventually stopped in the middle of the 2nd floor. He set her down. Damn, Sojiro.
ここまで来れば少しは休めるな。
Good job, Sojiro. Damn, you're fucking god for real. Sojiro showed some heat as he caught his breath. As light as she was, running while carrying someone else would make anyone winded. Thought by them in incomprehension.
こんな体力あったのに、なんで?
Why what? It made no sense to her. If he had to stand to pick her up and run, surely he could have stood up and escaped when he had been down earlier.
ああ、あの時は諦めてたから。
I give up, bruh. So Spider-Man into Spider-Man's 2 scene of when Miles runs away from Miguel. The fucking has his hands out, his fucking dips. Yeah. His words were unfiltered as ever. But right then, fighting for their lives, he lacked some of his usual absent-mindedness.
諦めてたって。
さあ、忘れた、そんなことは。
You. Sojiro, you. He may have turned away because he regretted saying it out loud. His words spoke volumes. For some reason, Pain Out could see him like that.
それより青崎、唐突に気分が悪いんだが。
I'm suddenly really like... I feel like I have a disease, but I don't know how this happened. Aoko, could you fix this?
あの赤い光も。
What happened? The VA is so good. He sounds so like... Even when he's saying like something horrifying, he just sounds so neutral. And just kind of whatever about it. It's like, oh, it seems I've received cancer. Oh, that's not interesting. Aoko, can you use your magic to fix all my problems, Aoko? Thank you.
ええ、魔術の類よ。岩洞打ちって言ってね。北欧の呪詛の一つ。魔術回路のある私には効かないけど、抵抗のないあなたには効果てきめんみたいね。
Scandinavia? Hey, yo, we made these? Yo, are they? We made these. W. I guess me. Yeah. Any money, Aoko? Can you magic some money for me, please? Hell yeah, we made Gondor shots. W.
なんだ、青崎には効かないのか。じゃあ、危ないのはあの腕だけだな。
Well, I say we, but like Scandinavia, I mean, it's close-ish. I had no idea why he was relieved, but she gritted her teeth and fought down the urge to snap at him. Scandinavia W. There's no use in yelling at a time like this. Above all, she felt it would have been petty in the extreme to voice her annoyance right now.
そうね。注意するのは伸ばしてくる腕だけ。大した相手じゃないわ、やっぱり。
Aoko, can you magic some $7 billion with every single console? Thank you. This time it was not false bravado. Aoko, since the way magic circuits work and all that, and magic works in this world, you can make anything that's been man-made already, so you could just make infinite money. Actually, thinking about it, why haven't they done that? If magic lets you make any, or do, well, no, it's shortcut. Okay, it's shortcut anything. So you could shortcut the process of making a $1 bill. No? No, no? Am I not onto something here? Hold on. I'm onto something, right? Because it... Probably because that would cause inflation. Fuck that! Who cares? Inflation, yeah! Listen, if everyone has money, everyone wins. Surely. Such an enemy would normally be a breeze for Aoko Aozaki. But her shameful negligence had led to the disruption of her magic circuits, making her even less formidable than her enemy. At this point, Aoko had no way of attacking. The option left to her was to wait for it to expand all of its magical energy, but its perpetual curse mechanism made that a non-starter. This game of tag would not end until one of them was dead. She realized that she was in the same position she had cornered SOJIRO in earlier. As to the right arm, I imagine how she had gotten into such a mess with her magical energy at more than half of its capacity. This had to be karma for having enjoyed toying with SOJIRO earlier.
呆れた。いるところにはいるものね、神様って。
I don't know about that. She grumbled under her breath as she shifted her focus. She had the fuel for the fire, but not the igniter. Trying to find the lore of how Ord existed. Naoko, can you magically fix my car that fell into the ocean? So, Saki, you're just like browsing wikis for Ort's lore? God, fucking O's. That killing machine would chase her until the end of time if need be. She should do next was blindingly clear. She had to get back to normal. Much I found that it occurred in notes. In notes? What do you mean?
Aozaki.
ごめん、考え事してた。
うん。
確か。よし、合ってる。しずきくん、そこに横道あるのわかる？
One day Spider became mad. Spider then became God. Spider sleep. Notes was not his first work for K&K and others. Yo, if you get a link to that, I'll read that at some point. I'll read that at my own time, because that sounds interesting.
Huh?
Like, if he's got... Bro, Natsu wanted to make all this shit that long ago? Damn. But, you say, but I thought, like... I thought Mahoyo was his first work, like, that he ever wrote. I thought Ultimate ones were made and whatnot. But no, I thought he wrote Mahoyo first out of anything. It was that or K&K, it was one of the two. But he had published nothing until Tsukihime, I think? Got pointed. You could see nothing but the walls of the corridor. One thing, floor had nothing but left turns, and that was pointing to the right.
2階は中心まで行くと1階に降りる階段があるんだけど、それは私が壊したから使えないの。
Can the 7 SP Major Arcana fuck off? No. Oh yeah, Anna, let me tell you something about the Major Arcana you're gonna be getting soon. There'll be another Arcana that lets you get another bonus draw, so you get 3 cards per shuffle time. After the latest one me and Chris were doing. Just be aware that this last excursion me and Chris did, we had to go back. We had to stock up on SP twice almost, because there was a lot of floors and a lot of enemies. Guess what passage? Yes, the passage. Oh, it wasn't Mahoyo nor K&K, it was notes. The place in, I believe, centuries before any of the characters we knew existed. Oh, you got a link to it? Because I want to read this. That's my final question to you then, Saki. Do you have a link to this? Because I want to read it.
けど、
I want to know.
ここの作りも意地が悪くてね。よく見れば、右に曲がる通路もあるのよ。上級者だけにわかる抜け道ってやつ。
Fine. Good, thank you. Like, bro, you're the reading it. Just pass what you're reading. Dang.
あとは注意して探せば、1階の階段までショートカットできる。悪いけど、一人で行って。
It's like if we were in a fucking, like, library, you were holding a book, and I was holding a book, and I'm like, I want to read your book. You said, but, like, no. Or like, oh, I'll tell you about the book, but I won't hand you the book, even though you asked to be handed the book. Like, bro, no, just give me the book. I want to read it. You're done reading it. Now let me read it. Yeah. When the second passes boss will do that to you as well, except it'll be in hundreds, not like 20s. Unlike your spirit drain, it's like 20, and they do 100 at a time. So two spirit drains, and you're out, buddy. And what if I told you as well, they're really tanky, and you know. I do 40, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Mr. Big Shot. Turn our back to SOJIRO and started walking. In the opposite direction of the escape route and down the long corridor toward the puppet in pursuit. Outlevel them. What level are you right now? Because that's one of the Manad passageway bosses. It's in DMs, man. Thank you. Because I can tell you right now, probably not. You probably won't. Because me and Chris are at 47. Me and Chris fought him and we were 52. And it was still ass. So, I'm sorry to say, buddy. No. You will not. We were in like 50 to 52. You will not. The out leveling does not matter.
あいつは無差別だからここで壊さないといけない。魔術師は魔術師同士で争うのはいいんだけど、ミラリンの一般人に手を出しちゃいけないって決まりがあるの。
Yeah, it's gonna take you a while.
あいつの目的は私のわけだし、結果がどうあれ、すっきりするでしょ。
I mean, yeah, but like I don't want you to potentially die. Like a one, it would be destroyed. Like a lost, its objective would be complete and it would shut down. Either way, they're separate ways for me and SOJIRO survived. That's what outcome meant. Which explains as if the events were happening to two totally different people.
運が良ければ入り口までたどり着けるわ。それじゃあ、また明日ね。
Oh yeah, I should tell you about the other boss on it. The first one in that passageway is a boss that will constantly enrage you, and he reflects all melee, and has no weaknesses, and a bunch of health, so have fun with that. He will take next to 0 damage. Yes, and you can't magic this, and it will do no damage. The most it will do is probably 150. Or probably 160 even. So you're gonna be sitting there for a while. Oh yeah, you'll win. I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying he's there to expunge your SP. And it sucks. SOJIRO could tell she was just trying to act tough. She disappeared around the corner by the time he fought to stop her. I won't tell you more though, because there's 2 more enemies, and the 2 other enemies are, well, interesting. To say the least. Mentally, I could bemoan the disaster she was in. Probably this pup was on a completely different level compared to the one from the park 2 days ago. An auto-incanting perpetual motion machine was a rarity in and of itself. This puppet was also equipped for battle with extending arms and Gondor projection crystalline eyes. It was a first-class product that, if you put on the market, would sell for hundreds of millions of yen. I see. Luna checks out different archetypes of each planet in nuts. Although, that was only one factoring in its value as an antique. For purposes of combat, it would have made more sense to mobilize an even less expensive familiar. It's a precious commodity as a tool for murder. Mark this puppet's master as a completely different breed of crazy from the enemies she had faced up until now.
Vivo in som solitare putres uniferis. Ictius mers obitus dies, et mers nativus dies. Theobeam.
Alright.
来たわね。
Oh boy. Sound of crackling music box filled the air. The automata, animated by its own curses, approached. The corridor measured approximately 30 feet in length. I could lay in wait around a corner further down the hall, anticipating the puppet's appearance. It's not to buy SOJIRO times to escape. Far from it. I could conclude that she could make a break for it under the current circumstances. And if she did try to escape, and by some miracle, made out of the House of Mirrors, that was as far as she would go. Outside, no cover, Aiko would quickly be overtaken and skewered from behind. As long as her magecraft was disabled, escape was impossible. Instead, she chose to force the enemy back. The situation was not the most favorable, neither was the puppets. This narrow hall gave Aoko no place to run, and in turn prevented the puppet from reaching full speed. That was the weak point of this machine. The automata of its era had a tendency to struggle with minute changes in speed. Oh. She flowed energy into her shortened circuits. The blood flow and magical energy supply were unstable. Difficult to construct a formula in this state. What she could do was harden her right arm by imbuing it with as much energy as she could. So turn her arm into an improvised weapon like a hammer or bat. Assuming she could manage to get into close combat range, this was the best she could do. Rin's true name? But it's just Rin. Unless you mean like a proto name or something. She managed now as a plan of attack. All she needed now was a plan of attack. The question wasn't what weapon to use, but how to use the weapon she had. True name is Kaleido Ruby Schweinstein. Schweinstein, I guess. Yeah, Schweinstein. This way would be to use the mirror's reflections to hide and then rush the puppet from its blind spot. Except for one major problem. It did not have a sense of sight in the first place. Puppet's view of the world around it did not stem from visual feedback, but from mapping the topography of its surroundings. In theory, same as a bat's echolocation, environment could be measured based on the emission of and return of high-frequency sound waves. Those chance served as sensor pulses. As far as the puppet was concerned, the mirrors were no better than transparent panes, making even the thought of an ambush laughable.
近づけば近づくほどよりリアルに察知される。本当は遠距離からの狙撃が最適なんだけど、ガンドを撃ってくるならフィンの一撃ぐらい隠してるわよね。
God damn, bro. Gondo is a Scandinavian in origin and, consider its simplicity, highly versatile. It is most effective at imparting a target's health by pointing a finger. Oh, I see, it's from a book called Character Material. It's all... It's from Tsukime, Mahoyo, FE Proto, Notes, FN, and DDD. DDD? I don't know what that last one is. It's a single action magecraft. It was limited to only causing illness, but there was a secret technique said to be the greatest mastery of the Gondor shot. The Fin shot. It could do more than cause simple illness. It's a deadly curse that could stop the heart. The wound on her back set her nerves on fire. An unknown girl and a deadly automaton. It's clear that she was the one destined for death. She considered her slim chance of survival when... What? A vision sent chills down her spine. The fuck is that? Quietly, using everything she could to clamp down on the feeling, Mika faced her all too familiar illusion. She clenched her teeth to keep them from making a deafening clatter. But there, the sensation of fingers crawling up her neck. Behind her, the specter stared and laughed. This alone made Aoko want to bolt. On top of it all, Mika tried to mentally simulate the coming fight. She estimated a 2 in 10 chance of dying in the first 5 seconds. Not to be that guy, alright? Not to be that guy, but nice double call, my man. Nice double comma right there. That's pretty nice. Creation disorder disconnection. It's about a syndrome, aka demonic possession, of patients who are suffering from it and cause them to have supernatural powers and body parts. This doesn't have no connection to Tsukime or fate. However, K and K. What? 20%. Times her predictions were harsher than reality. If Falco fought the puppet 10 times, she would die twice. She could not stop herself from visualizing her own corpse. She imagined herself collapsing, crumbling under the puppet's curse. Eyeballs swollen like a blowfish. Blood and other fluids oozing from every bodily orifice. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. 1 in 10 chance of death was bad enough, but 1 in 5? It drove her crazy. Michael forced down her heart as it tried to escape from her mouth. Taking in a deep breath, she peered at her own reflection. She fought back to that white night half a year ago. So no connection to K and K. Okay. So it's just a cool tidbit, I guess. This, she decided, was nothing compared to that. 6 months ago, at the Kawanji estate, the Hound of White Roses, the Wanderer snatch that appeared from within the thick fog, it killed Aoko 100 times out of 10.
Me animam brutalis, otem eftura necata sunt. Manes sum, animam definira ambiguum est.
Bro. What the fuck, dude? That's cool, but like, what the fuck? Hold on. I'm scratching my head on this one because it's the guy who, for Future Gods, that bombed the parking lot? Wait, the guy who could, see the future? In the final K and K movie? That guy? What? He's in DDD? But... what? Dark curse shattered Aoko's daydream. It was only 30 feet away. The puppet rounded the corner. Either side stood in the shadows, their forms indistinct. Puppet gave no warning. Without pre-metal, it swiftly fired a gun and barrage. Psycho planned. The curses fizzled out as they hit or missed like barrier of magical energy. The protection would only last a few seconds. Giving her just enough time to... didn't matter. Oh, hold on. The stretchable spear sprang toward Aoko's face.
Bingo!
Oh! The lethal weapon grazed her cheek. While experience analyzing puppet attack patterns gave her the wherewithal to evade the attack by a hair's breadth. It was one thing if a puppet were pulling the strings. Autonomous dolls had their limitations. Aoko had bet everything on this killing machine following a predefined template. The puppet would use a given attack for a given range. She could adjust her tactics to that. Go out, go! First arm had a chance to fully retract. She charged the puppet. It's a risky gamble. But her overall chances were slim to begin with. The scales tipped in her favor. If her predictions were correct, there were 2 ways she would die. One from a fence shot fired at that range. Oh. And the other wasn't. If the puppet's attack pattern was beyond her ability to foresee. Instantaneous mass transfer, otherwise known as mass displacement. And after Alka dodged the puppet's arm, something smashed into her abdomen. Fuck! The head-on collision from its shoulder felt like a rocket. Where did the ability to propel itself come from? It was like this was not built to have the ability to jet around like that. Everything in her power to stay conscious, despite the pain. Like we could just make out what happened. Yes. Its arm had not returned to its body. It's lodged in the wall and reeled itself in from the other direction. This is bullshit. Swallowing her surprise, she hastily pulled herself back up. Her abdomen, specifically her diaphragm, had been dealt a significant blow. Attack left her disoriented. Thankfully, the puppet was surprisingly lightweight. Bones and organs were intact, and she had sustained no life-threatening damage. She was having a hard time breathing, however. She was shaken. When she managed to keep her calm. In another 2 seconds, she was back on her feet. No. It was 2 seconds too long! She told herself to calm down. She was already calm. If she lost her bearings. She was fine. She could recover her breath and her vision later if only her body would move!
Ratio fix tantum est. Dolores nitium cerebrum fit.
This is what Kuzuyo could tell us where DDD isn't a part of Tsukihime nor Fate, but is connected towards K and K because of Psychic Boy. And this... You are so right, Puppet Woman. Yeah, there's notes. This DDD sounds interesting. So with notes, I gotta read all this shit. Above her, Aoko could hear the warped noise of a powerful force. She could once more feel the touch of death. Greater salvation? It was so close that Aoko could reach out and touch it. I don't see notes getting an adaptation, bro. If it says all this you say it is, I don't see it happening. It also meant that they could reach out and kill Aoko. By intuition alone, Aoko rolled over to the puppet's right flank. Also embedded within the wall. Where could not attack, she had made the right decision and her dizziness faded. You're so right, Puppet, but what the fuck? They pulled herself back up. It was her turn. What? It was only an instant. That deadass just looks like Aoko. This lava mirrors saw an image of herself. Note story indicates on the Earth's war cry, which caused the entire planetary war report being the only known being so far I can see. Oh. That is just future Aoko. It really is. Oh. Lightning, brilliant light flashed. Like traces appeared across the walls. The last moment, Aoko managed to fake the magical energy running through her veins into a primitive form of magecraft resistance. Just barely saved her life from what must have been the puppet's ace in the hole. Oh boy, a striking resemblance to Aoko. His powerful curse was not satisfied with stopping Aoko's heart, destroying her entire being. Did not even have the time to be shocked. This was her chance for a counterattack. But its balance was unsteady, its right arm still embedded in the wall. Aoko prepared to give its defenseless body a strong kick. Her knees buckled and she collapsed to a heap on the floor.
Solitare putris cum feris. Ictius meus orbitus tius, et meus natibus tius, Theobeam.
Sudden nausea and lightheadedness overcame Aoko. Her body temperature began to rapidly lower. Well, Aoko. Not to act like actually. To be fair, Aoko, it was chanting curses the entire time. Like, to be fair, it was chanting curses the whole time. So I don't see why you're acting so surprised. She noticed too late. Puppet's curses circled the hall. The curse chant that the puppet used as a source of power doubled as a defense mechanism, crippling those who drew near with curses. She bore the full brunt of the entire time she was in close proximity to it. So Aoko had magic circuits. She was succumbing just as SOJIRO had. Angrily, she forced her deteriorating body to jump back. All the energy she could muster, she forced her way past the exhaustion caused by the curse. However, Ako's blood pressure took a steep nosedive. Not from the curse-induced anemia, but from what appeared in front of her. They stood in perfect harmony. From Aoko was the automata that shared her face, its left arm held out like an arrow. The weapon shot forward and honed in on her heart. Then, a moment before it made contact.
Adonai.
When she heard that fearless voice, completely out of place in this storm of violence, Ako's body was pulled forcibly to one side. Once again, somehow cut through the air, through empty air. The puppet quickly retracted its left arm, so it took the brief opportunity to take Aoko by the hand and flee at full speed. What a fucking goat, bro. What a goat. SOJIRO ran for the court as fast as he could. Couldn't stop him when he had put enough distance between them and the puppet.
考えてみると
Though he had saved her, she looked angry rather than grateful. This did not keep SOJIRO from saying his piece.
明日はどうも忙しいみたいなんだ
Bruh, just because she said see you tomorrow at SOJIRO. Bro. In other words, let's finish this today. Rather awkward proposal. Aiko remained silent. She was also rather angry. She could not figure out what made him tick. Not because he returned after escaping. Not even because he was spouting his typically airheaded lines. SOJIRO is too good for this world. He really is. It's almost not fair how good he is for this world, bro. It's like with Shiki. Shiki's too good for this world, bro. And they're both like too good for this world in their own different ways. It was, she supposed, that instant. The fact that when he grabbed her hand, her mind had gone completely blank. Aoko found it unforgivable. She's back in the response.
あなた、正気?
Yes. In the heat of the moment, she blurted it before she could even stop herself.
それとも自殺願望でもあったわけ？私もあいつもあんたなんか殺す対象に過ぎないのよ。
Well, I'd say at the moment, the puppet, yes. You, maybe not.
少なくとも恩を売る相手じゃない。
Well, I think he's well aware of that.
言っとくけど、私助けられたぐらいで曲がる信念は持ち合わせていないから。
And I'm sure he knows that very well. Sojiro nodded, clearly unperturbed.
青崎がそんな可愛らしいもんじゃないのは、この夜だけで骨身に染みてるよ。
Yeah. Yeah. She found herself slightly offended.
けど君は勘違いをしてるから少し正そう。あいつの狙いは青崎だけじゃない。君だけじゃなく、俺も殺す気だと思う。
Probably. She was having none of it. I shot daggers his way.
話は最後まで聞く。どうしてかっていうと、1階の入り口あるだろ、あの細長い通路。なんでかあそこから先に進めないんだ。逃げたくても逃げ出せなくて、仕方なく戻ってきた。
Michael's eyes widened ever so slightly in the amazement. She felt admiration rather than shock that her enemy would go to such lengths.
それに、さっきので完全に敵扱いされた。あの人形、こっちをじろっと睨んできたし。
Yeah, Sojiro can tell this kind of stuff.
いや、一瞬でよく見えなかったけど、生きた心地しなかったな。青崎も気をつけた方がいい。多分よっぽど怖い顔をしているに違いないぞ、あれ。
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying, bro. Be careful.
それはご親切にどうも。
Sojiro, bro. Did you take things a little seriously?
うん。なんでこれはもう他人事じゃないんだ。青崎と人形、結論としてどっちが勝っても俺は殺されてしまうんじゃないか？
Correct.
そうね。そこまでやってるなら目撃者は消すでしょうね。私みたいに。
Yeah.
だろう。でも俺はあいつには殺されたくない。
I don't want her to be the one.
え？
His words were decisive. Sayaka looked up at him. She could swear he was trying to encourage her. It was then that she realized. Sojiro looking even worse than before.
ちょっと待って。大丈夫なのあなた。
まあ、醤油を一升瓶飲むよりはマシではないかと。
Tried to make light of the situation, but his forehead was clearly drenched in sweat.
そうか。さっき人形に近づいたから。
Oh yeah, if it just like fucked up Alco a little bit, it would. For Sojiro? Jesus, I can't even imagine. How could he possibly be able to withstand a curse that made even Alco nauseous? So his house is very specific, I know, right? Very specific. She bit her lip, annoyed at herself for not noticing this earlier. This was such an airhead that she hadn't even paused to consider his plight.
下で隠れていようとか思わなかったの？その方がどう考えても安全でしょ？
Really could not understand him at all.
それは青崎が言うセリフじゃないな。
Yes.
でもまあ、長話をしている時間もない。そろそろ追いついてくる頃だ。
Trying to look down the corridor. Cracking sounds of a music box could be heard creeping forth from the darkness.
さっき1階にいて考えたんだ。君がやられても俺は殺される。なら、まず奴をどうにかするべきだ。
We? I'm sorry, Sojiro, but like, what do you bring to the table that lets us deal with this Alco lookalike puppet? I'd love to know what you bring to the table.
あなた、何が言いたいの？
So sort of team up, but again, what is SOJIRO gonna do? Talk to the puppet? They'll confuse it enough. Maybe. Maybe. She has a question to which she already knew the answer. She did it to put him to the test. If he wavered even a little, she would have killed him where he stood.
提案。あいつをやっつけるのに協力したら、俺のことは見逃してくれる？
No.
助けられたぐらいじゃ信念は曲げないって言ったでしょ。それに、あなたに何ができるっていうの？
それは青崎が考えてくれ。得意だろ、そういうの。
Oh. The commander who had the overall picture was responsible for delegating roles to her teammates. It was futile to depend on someone who was unable to grasp the situation or evaluate the enemy's strength. SOJIRO was proud to share that he knew this. He spoke the truth. Ako was the only one who knew both SOJIRO and the automata. That was why he pointed out that following her orders to the best of his ability was the only thing he could do. It may have seemed as though SOJIRO had surrendered his capacity for self-thought, but in accepting that he was helpless, he was in fact giving Ako his complete trust.
じゃあ、私の指示に 100% 従うってこと？
Exactly everything?
ああ。それに、これは恩とか義理の話じゃない。
So, you know, if you make Aoko's life easier, just, you know, I shouldn't say that.
一人だと分が悪いから二人でかかるだけだ。善意でも行為でもない。取引って言わないか、こういうの。
A transaction, yeah, okay. His eyes sparkled, as if this was a bartering in its truest form. Oh my god. This child must have learned that from Tobimaru, Ako thought. She refused to let him see it. She smiled inwardly. Sure, he had gotten the best of her just now, but there were times when defeat was not the worst outcome in the world.
労働と報酬ってわけね。それなら理にかなってる。うん。言いたくないけど。
He's learned to gamble. Oh my god. She relaxed her shoulders and sighed. Her face cracked into a wicked grin, as if her fears had suddenly washed away.
それ、結構私の好みよ。
Hey yo. Ako repaid SOJIRO's trust in equal measures. Hold on. Wait a minute. Buddies? Friendos?
結構きついかもね。あなたの役目。
At least like a little bit? Ako won SOJIRO, moving as fast as she could without her footfalls causing a dim of noise. SOJIRO remained near the center of the spiral maze on the second floor.
実を言うと、もう一つ用意しておいた仕掛けがあるの。自分でもやりすぎだって呆れたもんだけど、あなたがここに来るのが遅かったから。
仕掛けって俺用の？
For me? SOJIRO tilted his head like a squirrel as Ako freely discussed the final ace up her sleeve.
地下の柱に着火型のちょっとした魔術式を刻んでおいたの。中心の柱に点火することで、連鎖的に他の柱に仕掛けた魔術も起動する。
Is that not a bit excessive? I'm just like, isn't that excessive?
ジャミングを食らう前に作ったものだから、直接魔力を叩き込めば、一気に、こう、いくわ。
Yeah. SOJIRO was a little uncertain about how unclear that last bit was.
青崎、こうじゃわからない。できるだけ明確に、どこまで爆破する気だったのか白状してくれ。
You gonna blow me the fuck up? Could you... Huh?
あと、もしかして俺、早まったか？
Potentially.
いや、その、単なる保険っていうか。
Insurance... Yeah, okay.
追いかけっこの途中であんたを見失ったら、いっそ建物ごと爆破しちゃおうかなって。
Ahaha, you know, as we do. Yeah, alright. was her policy to refer to a fault after all. She laughed, embarrassed to hear herself say it out loud.
いくらなんでも徹底しすぎてる。
A little. Facing Ako's cruelty, Soldier forgot about the situation at hand and protested from the bottom of his heart.
何よ、いいじゃない。そのおかげでなんとかなりそうなんだから。
She shot back. Ako dashed toward the corridor, mumbling things that probably would have sent Soldier packing if he heard them. The strategy was simple. Ako would use the escape route to the right and avoid the puppet while making her way down to the basement. Reaching the center pillar, she would infuse the formula she had prepared with magical energy and escape. Once ignited, it would take about a minute for the chain reaction to spread throughout the whole house of the mirrors, and another minute for the building to collapse. She would be cutting it a little close, but because she had committed the maze to memory, she was sure she could make it out in time. No. I could assume that the chain reaction caused by the pillar would clear the barrier that the puppet had placed at the entrance. And even if it wasn't strong enough to withstand the blast, it would not be able to stay standing once the foundations buckled. Soldier's escape was assured as long as the formula in the basement was activated. Next came the most important part. Automaton was at a disadvantage in the obstacle-laden house of mirrors and was unable to move at full speed. If it was near the center of the second floor when the building collapsed, it would be caught up and crushed by it. The problem was keeping the puppet on the second floor until Aoko could make it down to the basement.
当てにしたからね、しずきくん。せめて3分ぐらいは引きつけて。
Ideally, he would be able to keep it busy until she could activate the formula. If that failed to work, him lowering it down to the first floor would be the next best thing. She was knew perfectly well the danger she was putting Soldier in, but his lucky streak and running speed were nothing to scoff at.
ただ逃げるだけなら、もしかしてとんでもないことをしてくれるかも。あいつ。
Maybe. Ako made her way for the hidden passage of the maze, her hopes pinned on SOJIRO. Meanwhile, out of earshot, SOJIRO was readying himself for another desperate chase. He calmed his beating heart using a method of his own making. What mattered most was that he remained calm. The plan was simple enough. Nago's orders were succinct and easy to understand.
10メートルぐらいの距離を保って、できるだけゆっくり通路を3、4周すること。
Yep.
横道は鏡のつなぎ目で覚えて。ここなら左回りで6、3、7、2枚目にあるから、そこをぐるぐる回ってれば比較的安全よ。
Deadass, if I was in a situation, at this point I would have fucked up. You told me this, and I'm supposed to remember that? I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll just fucking die then. It was essentially a looping marathon. When the soldier kept just enough distance from the puppet's extended arm to allow her to track him, she couldn't continue to chase him indefinitely. So whatever the task was, Soldier was putting his life on the line as bait. Then there was the final order to run as fast as he could to the exit when the building began to sway.
結構じゃなくて、かなりきついんじゃないかな、これは。
Well, you want the puppet gone, bro? This is what you gotta do. He was just stuck his head out from around the corner. How about I just kill myself instead? How about I just, like, I run around in circles, but when you blow up the building, I don't find the exit, I just die with the puppet. How about we just do that instead? You could hear the sound of the music box from the other side of the corridor. First you had to make eye contact with it, then head through the shortcut on the right and begin their game of tag. He spotted and braced himself. Closer. Closer. Fearing that her phone could fly at him at any moment, he went over Aoko's instructions in his head.
What?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. However, So he is like me for real. Could not quite remember which path led to the first hidden passage. The third, the sixth, the ninth? Sojiro, I'm so sorry. But it would seem it's GG's for you, bro. It's nice knowing you, man. No. He was sure that was mistaken. He was confident he had it memorized moments ago. His nerves had gotten the best of him, and his head was now spinning. Then, Sojiro realized that the sound of his pursuer was beginning to grow distant, and at an incredible speed.
Nani?
What? The unusual silhouette of the puppet astonished him, for it had taken the form of a beautiful girl. Now it made a bizarre transformation. It returned to the first floor to pursue a primary target. Oh, fuck.
いや、それは。
Puppet, could you come back? This isn't part of the plan. So he was no longer sure what to do. Before he'd even had time to mourn his failure, the puppet had vanished out of sight. I'll help, so let me go. Or so he had said, but now he could not follow through.
さて、自分はこれからどうしよ
Find Aoko and tell her? Alone, he tilted his head in frustration. He spoke into the darkness of Aoko would be there to answer him. Meanwhile, downstairs, as soon as she arrived on the first floor, Aoko understood what had transpired above her. She did not even have to strain her ears to hear the puppet. Oh, she already knows. Even during its heyday, this attraction had never made sounds like the one she heard coming toward her now. The sound of despair, as if a horde of monstrous hedgehogs were scraping their way past the mirrors in her direction.
あのドジ、3分どころか10秒持たないってどういうことよ。
Oh no, that's not what happened. Rather than buying her time, Sojiro had instead stolen hers. He had one job: to run away. That was all. She cursed him under her breath.
複数の足音ってことは2足から多脚に切り替えたのね。
The echoes made it sound like dozens of feet were approaching. His mind conjured an image of a giant six-legged spider tearing its way down the corridor. It's no wonder that it was so much faster than before. Its perception of its surroundings through echolocation was of particular use in the dark. Compared to sight-dependent humans, the automaton was far better equipped to navigate its way through the labyrinth of mirrors. It could not keep pace earlier, and that had been because its bipedal mode made it less maneuverable. There's a hair on my arm. Well, I have hairs on my arm everywhere, but like, it's not supposed to be there. Now, stability provided by multiple legs gave it a speed that far exceeded that of any human.
どうするどうするどうする
Run for the bomb? Her thoughts spun out as she tried to come up with a plan B. She knew for sure that this was a pivotal moment. She continued standing still. She had seconds left at most. In her current state, she knew she could easily neutralize the bounded field blocking the entrance without casting a spell. All she had to do was feed a little of her own energy into it. Naga could spring with all her might for a little more than 3 minutes, but had far more stamina than she did. She could only come with 3 options. The first was to escape through the exit in front of her. The second was to hide somewhere on the more complicated first floor. And the third was to run into the basement and be stuck like a rat in a trap.
なんだ、考えるまでもない。
She made her decision with zero hesitation, moving her stiff legs again with determined strength. The oncoming storm was almost upon her. Her resolve firm, she turned and ran, descending into the darkness. So option 3, huh? Okay. No matter what, a finale should be glorious. This would be the Mirror Castle's final scene. 2 humans and a puppet. The young sorceress ran toward the suburban heart of the castle. Subterranean heart of the castle, sorry. While the Thomas antique chased its prey into the depths of a demonic dungeon. A minute later, a faint blue charge would ripple through the castle. This was the main pillar in the deepest depths of the basement. Not critical to the castle's structure, the pillar was a visible symbol of it. The girl concentrated her magical energy of fist and thrust it into the pillar. Oh. This was the blow that would bring down the castle. She began the destruction as she threw the punch. That scene blossomed into reality seconds later. It was simple ignition magecraft, meant to release a condensed magical energy engraved into the 4 pillars at the corners of the structure. Stuttering to that. Using electricity as a switch meant virtually instantaneous activation. It happened swiftly and elegantly. A hammer of destruction descended upon the castle of dreams that had stubbornly resisted its fate for 2 years. It was almost a joyous sound. And so, the lifeless and abandoned castle of mirrors set the stage for its final and most spectacular performance. Naoko's magical energy became an electrical charge that activated the magecraft formula engraved into the pillar. The chain reaction would lead to the castle's destruction.
ご苦労様。でも、思ってたよりくたびれてたのね。これじゃあ1分持つかどうか。
Plaza in the center of the basement. I tried to steady her breathing while rotating her magic crest at full speed. She wreathed her arms in blue light, only aware that she could no longer activate another formula. Oh hey. Labored breathing refused to settle. She stood at the center of the basement. Not being spotted even once, she had managed to make it all the way to the central pillar. It was a 100-meter dash in 13 seconds, flat, undoubtedly a new personal best. She spurred on her weakened heart, knowing full well the fate that awaited her.
入れば追ってくる。地下に行けば逃げられない。
Yeah.
当然よね。最後まで逃げ回ろうなんて虫のいい話だった。
Yeah. Hindsight was 2020. The castle was only a minute away from collapsing completely. If they stayed here, they would both be crushed by the rubble. The puppet certainly did not care. Left of its own, its sole concern was the elimination of its target, Naoko Aosaki. Indeed. The enemy had been willing to die from the start. He resented her own lack of resolve. It wasn't like her to chuck tail and run from an opponent that didn't fear death.
Vivo insomnum, solitare putoresque inferis. Ictius meus obitus dies. et meus nativus dies. Te obeam.
Now I come to you, alright.
そもそも自爆覚悟じゃないあれ。
Jesus.
六足歩行とフィンの一撃は使いすぎよ。もう呪詛による魔力補給じゃ間に合わない。
Okay, W. Such a perpetual motion device was only as good as its ability to regulate its energy consumption. There's so many functions at once, man. It was burning through fuel quickly and losing the ability to process the curses that powered it. Using up all of the functions it had given to achieve its aim. This is the pride of a tool. Such things could have ego? So doubt with sentience could never hope to understand. A beast born to do nothing but run would burn any human who faced its resolve. True.
ほんともったいない。
Yeah.
こういう無茶をするのは姉貴だけかと思ってたけど、いるところにはいるもんね。
Yeah. Aoko did not intend the sacrifice play here. Respect her adversary now. She was done regretting her choices. There's no time to waste.
行くわよ。ここできっかり。
Oh shit. Aoko had every intention of paying it back double for what it had done to her. Energy Aoko had accumulated exploded out of her right leg. She aimed for a single thing. A head-on attack! And responded with a lethal curse that reached for her heart like a set of talons. Humming with power, it meant to rend Aoko's heart and burn itself out in the process. As soon as she saw it, Aoko kicked the floor as hard as she could. Her long hair swirled through the air as she flipped aside. This louder move almost sent her tumbling to the ground. A quick swing of her arm allowed her to regain her balance. A shot grazed her arm. Her scorched her left shoulder. She did not flinch. Aoko knew she could not hold on as long as she continued to avoid a direct fin shot.
Snap.
Oh. Parry. Off balance and in pain. It took her half a second to recover. When she raised her head, she deflected the attack with a fist full of magical energy.
せーの。
The puppet had a will of its own. Its eyes would have popped right out of its sockets. It would have been floored, shocked at the strong will that allowed this girl to perform a series of moves like this. Oh, parry. Her response was instantaneous. While her power was not sufficient to completely redirect the arm's trajectory, it was just enough to deflect it harmlessly past her hair. GG's. This chant became a curse that robbed Aoko of her vitality. Did it still have something left in the tank? Was it actually indigenous? Whatever the reason, Aoko was easily able to resist its weak and defensive maneuver. Me. Nice. Her right leg, pulsed with magical energy, shot up into the puppet's chest from below. It's much larger than Aoko anticipated. Rather, she felt little resistance. Automaton's weight was determined by its internals, the size of its power source. Ironically, it was the superiority of its music box engine that would prove it to be its downfall. You have one hit and we're down?
Venite, 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 meum sepulchrum, venite.
Stuttering curse. taking the full brunt of Aoko's kick. The puppet bounced from the ceiling to the floor, collapsing in a heap. The internal construction had been warped by the impact. Even the drum of the music box that powered the puppet warped as well.
恨むなら設計者を恨みなさい。ダイナモの一つでも積んでいれば、もうちょっとは重たくなったでしょうに。
Aoko, we should run. We should leave. Part of the ceiling came crashing down in front of Aoko, snapping her back to her
と
senses.
ころで今、どうやってぶっ倒したんだろう。
Yes! Now leave! She was so stunned by her own victory that she forgot the house of mirrors had already begun to collapse.
こっちのがやばかった。
Dummy! Damn! Oh. There's no time to relish on a victory or pity your opponent. Unless you wanted to meet the same fate. As the situation stood, she found it hard to imagine getting out alive.
急げ、ダッシュだ私。
Move, bro! Slapped herself on the cheeks to motivate herself anew. This is her bound to finishing their battle in a matter of seconds. Breath ragged with excitement, Aoko ran for the exit. What did SOJIRO make it? The collapse was intensifying by the second. Having lost its support pillars, the castle was buckling under its own weight.
この邪魔。
Escaping from the basement was proving to be no easy task. Just taking as short as route possible for the maze, she was nearly crushed by a falling piece of the ceiling along the way. This was the second time, no, third, she had to deal with fallen rubble along the way. She destroyed the debris on the stairs with magic bullets as she ran. Toto's jamming had long since worn off. Her attack had damaged the vast majority of its functions. Oh. Her breathing was heavy as she ran. Desperation sparked her brain into overdrive. The ceiling seemed to be collapsing in slow motion. Life seemed to flash before her very eyes. Each second stretched into 5. Her frayed nerves made it hard to tell the time. What? It was debris riddled throughout the stairway, forcing her to crawl up it. She emerged from a destroyed basement into the collapsing first floor. Also still traversable at all was a miracle in itself. Fortunately for her, the crucial path to the exit was still intact.
よし、ついてる。
Hold on. The corridor to the entrance was still intact. The basement maze only extended as far as the plaza, so the entrance corridor wouldn't collapse. Only the ceiling would cave in, leaving the scaffolding surrounded intact. She got herself this part for telling herself repeatedly that fate would decide whether or not she reached the plaza. Gamble paid off. It was her lucky day. She had to do was muster the last of her strength and keep moving toward until... She hesitated for a fraction of a second. Was it naivety? A sense of responsibility? She put aside the image that popped into her head and continued running toward the corridor.
言っとくけど、時間合わせの余裕はないわよ。そんな上等な作戦じゃないし、お互いできることをやったら最速で出口に向かいましょう。
That was 5 minutes ago. Time? SOJIRO had nodded with trepidation. Naoko had not bothered to ask herself why.
何様だったの私。今は走ることだけ考えろ。
This corridor was giving out too. She went to look back. She was sure she would see the building collapsing in on her. She was sure she had no time to waste doing so. It was fading as fast as the building's structural integrity. It was a small miracle that she had escaped serious injury up until this point. She could not afford even the slightest slip-up. An ankle sprain, loss of balance, even a sneeze would be fatal. So a pound in the back was enough to end it. So, naturally... Are you fucking serious? It's still alive? There it was. Clear as day. From detritus of the stairway, death had arisen to take her down with it. Persistent as puppet, bro. A corpse that had crawled its way up from the depths of hell itself. It was still operational. And it was still armed with curses. They crawled after her, watching as Aqua desperately tried to save herself. The puppet's arm shot forward. Aqua did not turn to meet it. She could see its reflection in the mirrors. Extend, extend, extend. This time, she could not dodge it. There was absolutely nothing she could do. The puppet with her face sang. For a moment, she could not believe her eyes. It's the last thing she'd expected to see. Oh, thank God. Alright, Sojiro's... Alright. A fierce expression adorned the face of the boy who had been waiting in the plaza. He smashed the puppet's outstretched arm. It really did not suit him at all. What the choice was a fire extinguisher? Just searched the maze for someone to use as a weapon. No, never mind that. It's too crazy to contemplate. Did he stay behind for her? Wait, it's time to leave! Okay, that's great and all, but it's time to leave! To stop the feet, she had sworn she would never stop moving, extending a hand out to him. We gotta go! So toss the fire extinguisher aside and took off running. Pieces of the scene continued to collapse like dominoes. They kept moving, with dust and dirt following in their wake. The shadows raced through the collapsing corridor with all their strength. The castle was in the throes of death. The massive crash and a cloud of dust. The final chapter of the fairy tale that had been Kitsyland came to an abrupt end. We made it, right? I assume we did. This duel to the death was over. For a moment, these were swelling emotions. Any past enmity was forgotten. Two collapsed on the lawn and basked in strange solidarity. Ringing in their ears subsided before long. A tremor of such magnitude seemed impossible in an amusement park like this. The sounds of destruction echoed across the park. I could address the individual at her side. We're Gucci. Oh, we're good. Jesus Christ. Persistent fucking puppet, dude. I swear to God. If the puppet comes out of this goddamn debris. The click of her tongue was adorable. The meaning behind it was anything but. If that puppet is still alive, the only thing I can say was Alice, bro. It better be. Puppet's gonna come out of the toilet next time Aiko needs it? Fuck. Bro, this thing better not come back, I swear to God. For its own safety, I swear to God, it don't. Zero sighed, not wholly relieved by her frank response. His reason? Yeah, because now your killer's alive and is going to kill you. He wasn't out of the woods yet. after all.
青崎、子供の頃はいじめっ子だっただろ。
Probably.
可逆趣味はないって自負してるけど。
You say that, but
それで、今の自分の立場、分かってる？
he sat up and smiled. Sojiro hung his head in shame. Why her kind tone and expression was so chilling.
面目次第もございません。
かしこまってもダメよ。あの提案には大前提があったわよね。これは取引だって。あなたが役に立つのなら見逃してあげるっていう。
No, but if he explains himself, I'm sure he'll be fine.
わかってる。だから面目ないって言ってるだろ。
Bro, this isn't Sojiro's fault. He tried to go with the plan, but the puppet just dipped. Sojiro made a show of avoiding her eyes, like a pouting child. Naoko was taken aback by this sulky display. Perhaps he was angry at himself rather than her. He was not mad because she would not let him go. He was mad that he had not done his part. He was sorry for what seemed like the millionth time that day. She could not figure out what surprised her more. His unconditional kindness or her naive approval of it.
じゃあ、覚悟はできてるの？
そんなのはできないけど、約束だからな。結局は何もしていないし。
So it seems. So it seems. So in that case, he failed to do any of the things she had expected of him. But just then, she glanced back at the collapsed house of mirrors. What had he done after failing so spectacularly? He had searched for the extinguishers so he could use it as a weapon. And waited patiently in the plaza as the maze collapsed all around him just because he thought it was wrong to leave her behind. A foolish choice, and the exact opposite of her choice to run towards the exit without hesitation.
ま、それでよしとするか。
She was satisfied. Even as she was shocked at how naive she was being. It was true that he had saved her. He smiled inwardly, admiring, only for a moment, the bravery he continued to show in the face of such extreme circumstances.
役割は果たさなかったけど、アフターケアは合格だし、約束は守らなくちゃね。
Hey yo. With a nod, she pulled herself to her feet.
約束は、ま、いつか守ってもらうとして。
Sojiro gets to live? The girl tried to keep a straight face. She offered a hand to the boy still lying on the ground.
結果はどうあれ手助けしてもらったし、特別サービスってことで、今夜はもう手を出さないであげる。
She bashfully averted her gaze. Her profile appeared different than it had in the past. It was clearly still the face of the vibrant girl he met the day he arrived in town.
何を？
As she had felt his eyes on her, she shot him a frowning glare.
突拍子もないけど、青崎は律儀だなって。
Truly. Don't be staring at her. What you want? He took her outstretched hand. Seeing his way as she pulled him up, she couldn't help but think that he was about the last person she wanted to hear that from.
ところで、今夜はって言うけど、明日から。
Yeah, what about tomorrow? Because I have stuff to do tomorrow, so could you...
さあ、ま、その時になったら考えるわ。
Oh, she's like me for real. We'll just have to wait and see. She shrugged her shoulders as if she was not sure herself. This was so unlike her that it made Sojiro smile. Was this solidarity of having escaped death together, or their fleeting camaraderie that made them do so? It might have been for this night only, but the air between them was kind and gentle. Not had transpired, but the midwinter nightmare had come to an end. They had overcome many trials and tribulations and could now leave the mirror realm in their wake. before that.
随分と身勝手ね。
Hey! Alice?
それはあなた一人で決めていいことだったかしら、青子。
Who said we could decide that? Good question. So, Sojiro might be dead. Yeah. It's the voice of a beautiful songbird and a merciless machine, all roll into one.
アリス。
Her voice quivered as she spoke her name. Spoke the name. Oh. Please don't sing, Alice. Hey! Lady in Black made her presence known. The night was not over yet. Her name was Alice Kuwanji. She was a witch whose name struck fear into the heart of Aoko, the avatar of the night who will allow no witnesses. Well, that's really fucking bad for Sojiro now, isn't it? Huh. What a fucking chapter, yeah. Let's save the game. Yes. We can check archives in case there's something. I don't think there is, right? Nope. Alright. Look at that face on the moon. Alright. There we go. Next chapter. Lego. Night of the Witches 2. The melody stirred an emotion like nostalgia within them. Something once familiar, but now lost to this world. They believed, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they would play for all eternity. Opening stanza to final coda. It was a mysterious siren song, merry yet longing, that heralded a return from dreams to reality. The night shook. A song was spun. Now, their lost paradise was unearthed. Abandoned dreams. Forsaken idols. They all responded to the cry of the blue cat. The name of that bell was Diddle Diddle, Banquet of the Night. All fables made possible, all marvels made real, by the magecraft of Alice Kuwanji, more magical than magic itself. Suppose so.
それはあなた一人で決めていいことだったかしら、青子。
Alice sat perched atop the clock tower like a black bird of ill omen. No, no, VN. Visual novel, for once you're wrong. She is just floating. She's not sitting or standing, she is floating. She smoothed the ruffles of her skirt as if she were preying.
Alice.
With tension in Aqua's voice, she lifted her head. Have your permission, Alice? You're not my mom. I want this guy to go for today. I will let him go for today and then kill him tomorrow. Jeez. The calm atmosphere from a moment prior had long since been shooed away by Alice's gaze.
あの子、確か。
Sojiro searched his hazy memory. He could not clearly make out her face at this distance, but he was sure he had seen her around town a number of times. Where and when eluded him, however, His tension in the air kept him from connecting all the dots.
驚いた。随分と仲間思いになったのね、アリス。今夜は私に任せるんじゃなかったっけ？
Listen, I'll kill him tomorrow, but only after I've had a good breakfast. I got rid of her guard and took half a step forward, unconsciously. From Rejected's standpoint, it almost looked as though she was protecting the figure beside her. Now as the silence grew even heavier, her eyes, fixed on the ground below her, were devoid of emotion. An indescribable sense of dread and pressure laid claim over the plaza.
Kone?
He strained his ears. He could make out the faint ringing of a bell echoing in the distance. The sound waves seemed, unbelievably, to be emanating from from under the ground.
なあ、青崎。あの子。
黙ってて。
Shut up. Quiet. Okay. Sora stepped back, trying to stay out of the way. As though he had been told to go to hell. So Crown was asking if the girl was Alco's friend.
そうね。仲間思いに当てはまるかは微妙だけど、良くない予感がしたから様子を見に来ただけ。
Oh. So, you're only here based on good intuition. Great.
別にあなたの仕事を疑ったわけじゃないわ。
True.
それはどうも。どうせならもう少し早くその良くない予感とやらに気づいてほしかったけど。
Yeah, just a little bit earlier. How fucking wonderful is that? It'd be great if you came a little earlier, though,
で
yeah.
もま、ご覧の通り自己解決したわ。
Yeah.
夜も遅いし、さっさと帰っていいわよ、アリス。私の仕事っぷりを疑うわけじゃないんでしょ？
That's a stare down the century right there, bro. Their eyes locked on one another. They sure did. Alice's stare was uncomfortably cold. Akko's was bold, daring Alice to air her complaints.
いえ、気が変わったわ。
は？
せっかくだし二人で帰りましょう。その方があなたらしいわ。帰りしな、人形の話でも聞かせてちょうだい。
Wait, so you knew about the puppet, yet you waited?
らしいって何よ、らしいって。いいから帰れ帰れ、ぐうたらアリス。部屋に閉じこもって役に立たないムクドリでも作ってろっての。
As the opponent's sigh escaped Alice's delicate lips. Seeing that the black-clad girl was more astonished than angry.
青子、口にしたくないけど、本気？
I think this is really, really bad. Quietly, Alice questioned her roommate of nearly 2 years. This man, really, Alco? You're just protecting this guy?
呆れた。二人で秘密を守ると言ったのに。
You could probably do better. No, she most definitely could, but it's SOJIRO.
まだ半端にそっち側なの？それとも情でも移った？
別に情っていうより私の気分。だいたい方針なんてその場その場で変わるもんでしょ。気分ならなおさらよ。そっちこそ一度した約束は絶対守るなんて時代遅れなんじゃない？
Oh. The verbal knives were out. We're out now. No quarter was given nor taken. Sadly, the partnership was one of convenience and had not reached the level of mutual understanding. The version of friendship was both delicate and unique. When a conflict of opinion arose, each one refused to budge until the other crumbled. Neither was concerned for the other's plight, at least for now. That was how they liked it.
そうね。今の暴言はあなたらしいとは思うけど。
Uh-huh. Once again, she let out a sigh, larger than the one before.
言い争いは後にしましょう。そこの彼をいなかったことにするのは私だけで十分だし。
Finally, she struck straight to the point. As if making to move a chess piece, Alice lifted her slender finger. I'm sorry, but that's a fork. I'm sorry, but that's comically large fork. That's just a big fork. Even this simple action seemed mysterious to Sojiro. The same boy who had been hunted by his classmate Aoka Aozaki, born witness to an automaton. It was violence, an animated doll. Perhaps far beyond the realm of logic. Both these things were derived from reality. Surprised as he had been, there was no need to think of them as total mysteries. However, the thing appeared out of thin air from a seemingly unrelated gesture, yet no words for it besides mysterious. It stood motionless, captivated by this stage performer's magic trick. The girl's single finger magecraft turned into an attack directed at him. A blue light flew from the side to repel it, annihilating it without a trace. Okay, so Aoko, I hope you know what you just did. Aoko immediately regretted her reflective shot.
どういうこと？約束を曲げただけじゃなく、ルールまで破るつもり？
The already chilled midwinter air plunged below freezing. Alice looked calm and collected on the outside. In reality, she was sometimes even more hot-headed than Aoko. This was especially true when it concerns her familiars. Suddenly breaking one would often result in a week of silent treatment. But against someone who mercilessly destroyed her things, Alice was prone to retaliate without warning.
あっちゃー、いつかやるとは思ったけど、ついに激鱗に触れちゃったか。
You have one shot left. As far as I could tell, from your arm, you have one shot left. So good luck. Go sighed at herself. She was exasperated by her own stupidity, yet she couldn't help but feel a pang of relief. She didn't tend to make any excuses, and she had no regrets. She had broken her rules, then so had Alice.
青子。なんていうか。
If anything, this took a load off her mind. After all, now there was no going back. I could never intended to break her own rules. If there was anything for Aoko to regret, it was putting too little power into her shot.
私的に今夜こいつに死なれるのは困るのよ。なんで日を改めて殺しに来てくれないアリス。いいでしょ？たった1日ぐらい。
A little bit too late for that. To Aoko, it was simply natural to take on a pro bono case in defense of an innocent suspect.
それは市場？悪い？一宿一般の恩義って割と大事にしてるの、私。私との協定より。ええ、時と場合によっては。
So those human rights had not yet entered the argument. The guys were basically pouring oil on each other's flames. The girl clad in black was the first to move, or rather, to erupt.
そう。よくわかったわ、青子。
Oh.
私は彼をここで殺す。
Oh.
あなたは彼をここだけ生かす。つまり私と戦う
ということでいい？
Could we like fight tomorrow? Yeah, can we like fight tomorrow?
そんなのいいわけないじゃない。
Exactly. Could we like can we fight tomorrow instead? Bit back to retort. He's very familiar with Alice's magecraft, and knew painfully well how many mistakes were hidden in Alice's tiny body. The odds of victory were essentially non-existent. Once the first shot had been fired, Alice Kuwanji was without mercy. Facing a roommate or a friend, most beloved family member or a stranger. Once Alice began to fight as a witch, she became a heartless, unflappable monster. I could imagine her half step forward as if to encourage herself. It was too late to back down now. The situation was no longer a trivial quarrel over a witness. The bettering of their so-called friendship had nothing to do with their individual abilities, and everything to do with being equals in will. That is why, in order to stay... I can't read. Hold on. That is why, in order to stay true to herself, Aoko had no room for compromise or deception. You'd be shocked how hard to stay true to herself is hard for Seton, bro. That's what the fuck. That Seton is hard.
もちろんあんたを殺すことになってもそこのバカは生かしきるわ。それに
7 English? It is. It's just it was with a tongue twister for me. I don't know why. Magic circuits howl as they kick into gear. Her body, which had mostly been dormant during the battle with the puppet, ignited, preparing to demonstrate its true worth.
それにどの道最後には殺し合う仲でしょ私たち。
Courage overpowered any fear she had for her opponent. Oh, you got a lot of shots, never mind. Tuning her body, magic circuits, to become like the barrel of a gun. I could fire a magic bullet. It's an exceedingly basic magecraft formula. No nature interference, no creating of wind, parting of water, no hastening of decay. It was simply the process of converting the imaginary activity known as magical energy into something real, before releasing this heat. Its adequate destructive power is equal to her supply of magical energy. My bullets she had used in SOJIRO were among the most basic single-action magecraft that did not require any incantation. With her present ability, her first main mode of attack, magic bullet, we fired at 3 levels of power. These were at the 2nd level. It's quite a double-action magecraft, a casting through activation of her crest combined with a simple incantation. However, without blinking, Alice dispersed the shot that Aoko had mustered all of her spirit to fire. Wasn't that great? You should probably use level 3. I got tired in frustration. Swift sneak attack that used a simplified incantation would not be enough to break Alice's guard.
相変わらずお堅いこと。そのから一段と独りよがりになってるんじゃない？
I appreciate SOJIRO just being so real. I could provoke Alice in order to disguise her own lack of composure. Somehow Alice seemed delighted by Aoko's bravado.
売り言葉に買い言葉というやつね。
Oh, that's what they call those fighting words, huh?
こういう勢いだけのきっかけは初めてだけど。
Hmm.
驚いたわ。こんなくだらない理由でもその気になるものなのね、人間って。
But like, aren't you human too? Alice giggled. She smiled with heartfelt amazement. Alice gestured her left hand toward the earth. Countless utensils shot out from underneath the cobblestones paving the plaza.
しずき君、後ろに飛んで。
Caught his hand as he shouted, jumping backward before he even had a chance to respond. He had wills of their own. Utensils that had suddenly appeared from the ground gave chase. Spears grew around them. Cook and SOJIRO put some distance between themselves and the clock tower.
これで終わり?
Bruh. Just under 30 feet stood between them and Alice. The weapons that had crumbled the stone beneath them fell short of what Aoko had anticipated. They then circled the clock tower, making the scene look like the burning witch at the stake.
普通逆じゃない。ここは私たちを逃がさないよう槍で周りを囲むものでしょ。
Well, Alice is far from normal, so the path behind them was safe. If they wanted, they could try to make a break for the main gate and escape.
いいのアリス。悪いけど逃げられるなら逃げるわよ。私。
I'm sorry, SOJIRO, you are just make it back to town. Yako's win. What to do was let SOJIRO get away from the night for the night, so she could get him back to the city. It would be, for the most part, mission accomplished. What is that?
Huh?
Or so she had thought. Even offering a glance at her targets below, Alice carefully and lovingly pulled out a bottle from her pocket.
緑のフラスコ？あれって確か。やば！とにかくファイヤー！
Oh. Shot was deflected with ease. Gone was Aoko's earlier bravado. It's only natural. Aoko hadn't even grown as a mage. Last 2 years of study, her studies had progressed well. She'd more or less gotten a grasp of her roommate's tendencies and abilities. Oh. This had made her conceited enough to believe that, under favorable circumstances, she'd be able to show Alice a thing or two in a fight. That is... alright. Alice uncorked the magical bottle. A gentle breeze caressed her cheek. Diddle fled as a new player stepped onto the stage. From where would it enter? The sound of footsteps, nostalgic parade approached. Bruh. The whole fucking circus? What emerged was a miracle that Aoko Aozaki, an apprentice mage, had never witnessed. The dead came to life. She just did a fucking domain expansion! Run! The inanimate awakened. The woods were enveloped by the mists. Fire-breathing lizards lurked in the swamps. Puppets made merry at midnight. Alice Kwanji's slender fingers had transfigured the entirety of the park, as if gently stroking the back of an elderly cat.
いいわ。ごっこ遊びをしましょう。青。
One night, the wasteland of dashed hopes and dreams was restored to its former glory. It was an immortal monster ready to devour reality. That took a shot. A dark fairy tale that, once unleashed, would never let its prey escape.
逃げられるものなら逃げてみせて。どこまで行けるかわからないけど、この夜を越えることができたのなら あなたの勝ちにしてあげる。
Why can't... Alright. Declaration marked the start of a desperate battle. The witch in black laughed at her friend. A musical mirth filled with affection, sadness, and innocent delight. Also, this music is pretty nuts. And I think with that is where we will place down our bookmark. We've reached what I would only call the zenith. The zenith peak of what this chapter's got to offer. And we'll find out what happens tomorrow, next time. Twin Saga has private service. I have no idea what that is, but that sounds great. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on another wonderful Witch in the Holy Night stream, because wow, sir, this game's great. It's still great. And I can't wait to continue. I only got shut down 2 years ago. Still no idea. But because I got stuff to do tomorrow, I'll try to keep the outro short and sweet. So, two years. Yeah, I said 2 years. Anyway, I will keep this outro short, sweet, and to the point. I hope you all enjoyed, because I certainly did. And with that, have a good day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the whole wide world. And hope to see each and every single one of you. Same time, same place, tomorrow, for more Witch on the Holy Night. And also, for a new playthrough, a new game, a new game on Wednesday. Don't want to miss that now, do you? A whole new game, whole new world. It'd be new for me too. I don't know like anything about it, so you don't want to miss that. More Alice kills SOJIRO. Yes, tomorrow. That's gonna be great. But yes, that'll be all then from me. Persona 1. Haha, maybe. Who knows? But yes, indeed. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!